Okay, right, there we are. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining me here today on our live stream on the 10th of May. I'm very, very, very excited about this live stream. I'm always excited about live streams, actually, but particularly today because this weekend is our annual Oikos Summit. Now, that basically means we get together once a year and we sit and discuss all the various history of the previous year, of how things have been going in Oikos, and then we look at the upcoming year and talk about how we can make things, improve things, do things better, all with the view to serve you. So that's what is exciting about it, is the fact that the reason for these summits, these annual summits, is for that sake, is to try and find out how we can better serve the people. Because we were just saying a couple of weeks ago that Oikos is, you must know by now, that Oikos is very much a ministry into the lives of family and their homes and this lifestyle they've chosen. And so we've been using this word a lot recently, vocation, meaning that it's a calling. If you want to look up the word vocation, you'll see that it's actually a calling to do a work to serve others. So we are looking now at all the different ways of how to improve that and how to do better in serving you. And so we have a summit. Now, the summit, it might seem odd to you that summit in May, and that's not like, it's not at the beginning of the year or the end of the year, just at the end of the first quarter, actually, because we meant to have our summit in March, but that didn't happen. And I'll tell you why, for a few reasons, not that it makes any difference specifically to when the summit is, because at the end of the day, the objective is to find ways to better serve you. But I did say on the Facebook post that I was going to tell you a little story. And that is got something to do with why our summit is in May and not in March. So the story is this. In February, Oikos had a bit of a breakdown in that one of our equipment, our main equipment, we manufacture or publish books. A lot of the books that you receive or that you see on the website, we actually publish here at Oikos at our print house in the Midlands here in Natal, in South Africa, for those people who are watching from other parts of the world. And we print the books, and so we need production print equipment for that. Well, one of our primary printers had a problem. So in February, we didn't have a printer for the primary printer for 3 weeks. So we were hobbling along on one leg. We managed to keep our heads above water and just get through. However, the impact that had was quite great in the fact that we were struggling to keep ahead. And then we got that over that hurdle, and we got through that after hobbling along through February on one leg. And then March arrived, and okay, right, that's behind us now. And the next printer fell over, as in we had another breakdown. Now, you might wonder what these breakdowns have got to do with you, but I'm telling you this story to say to you that we are determined to not give up, and we have reason to, and we hit these valleys and we think, oh my goodness, how are we going to do this? And then we actually feel we can't. You know what? We can't do this. It's just, we can't. It's just too much for us. And then we take it to the Lord. We ask him, okay, so you want us to do this, do you or don't you? Because we can't. And we always are encouraged and strengthened by him in his word. And he tells us to persevere and to continue because he wants us to keep serving you. So that's what's exciting, is that we, even though we hit the valleys, we haven't been allowed to give up. It's been tempting. I'm sure there's not anybody alive that doesn't hit valleys, that doesn't feel tempted, that they can't actually continue. But whenever we want to, in our own weakness, God always gives us that extra to persevere and gives us his strength. And his strength, I have found, mostly comes in joy. So we have to really focus on that and finding in his word areas where we can focus on joy, because then we are strengthened by him. So I must say that I do experience a lot of joy in being able to do these live streams, because it means I can talk to you wherever you are. And I find that very exciting. I feel that is, in fact, meeting one of the main objectives of Oikos, and that is to be available to serve and to help you in this calling that you have to teach your children at home, or just in your parenting, in your family life, in your everyday life, even the valleys you might be facing, because I don't believe that God has pulled us through one valley after the next, without there being a greater purpose in that, and that has been available to help you. And in fact, just this past week, we've had a number of inquiries and questions and moms calling regarding special needs. One mom, in fact, I've got her question, I wrote it down. She phoned, she didn't send this question, she phoned in and she said, she got a special needs child who's at a special school, and the school has told her that she cannot home educate anymore. She cannot keep her child in the school because his problems are causing a difficulty for the school, so that they have said she must homeschool him. And she's just really hit a panic and said, oh, but I can't, and I don't have the ability, and I'm so nervous. And she phoned me with that, and I said to her, please, can she go and watch the Pain to Pearls and the Autism series that we have on the website. Jamie, can you put a little link there for the Pain to Pearls? It's under videos, courses. And then when you finish doing that, she can get me a tissue, please. I need a little tissue. So I was able to send this mom to watch these courses, and there again is where the valleys come in, because our daughter, Missy, was born with a chronic illness. So we were constantly living with chronic illness, which I've spoken on previous live streams about how to get through those days. And then bundled in that is the special needs learning element. So I could actually say to this mom who, well, not just this one, there was a couple of moms this week specifically. That's what the main topic of the week has been special needs. The previous week was health matters. So you see, it's not just about helping with actual learning at home education. It's more than that. And so that's what excites me about these live streams, is that if we can offer and give more support and help on a broader level, well, that's wonderful. I hope we can achieve that. And that's why I also wanted to come and speak to you today before our summit starts, so I can hear from you and ask you what it is we can do for you. What areas can we help you more effectively in? Are you going to give me my tissue? Jamie has sent me a little link to connect me to this live streaming, so I'm going to look at that while he goes to get me a tissue, because I've got a little bit of a drippy nose, you see, so I need to attend to that. So that's why I wanted to come back to why I wanted to speak to you today, was to ask you to let me know if there's things that you would like to suggest, or you'd like to input, or you'd like to tell us about that I can contribute at the summit, because then I can say to the people at the summit, I can say to them that we were doing live streaming, and these are the things that the moms contributed, and then that will have an influence and an impact on decisions that we make about where to put our time and energy and attention. So now I am looking at some of the comments on the side here, because Jamie just sent me the link. Thank you. Got me a little tissue. Thank you. I just need that. Excuse me while I attend to the little drippy nose. Okay, so if you've got something to add, you can add it here in the comments, or you could also just email me your thoughts. And on the actual website, there is on the homepage, there's that little button that says ask a question anonymously. Basically, when I get those questions from you, they just say they've come from the website. They don't indicate who they're from or where they're from. So if you want to be known and you want me to know that you specifically, you're in a particular area and you feel it would be really helpful to your journey in your area to ask me some other question, and it's important that I know who you are and what area you're from, then you can include that. But otherwise, when you send comments from that button on the homepage, it just comes into my inbox and it just says from Oikos webpage. So, and I've got a couple of those today, which I'm going to be getting to, because after all, this is also a Q&A time. So These live streams are meant to be questions and answers. So if you've got a question, I can hopefully answer it for you. Sometimes I'm going to have questions. So it goes both ways. My question today is, how can we serve you better? And also, the other thing I wanted to tell you, going back to my story about February and March being us hobbling along on one leg. Well, in March, another thing happened. I started on that story just now, and I've just realized I didn't actually conclude that. But that was that another printer went over, so we continued to hobble on the other leg now. And so we've been hobbling along on one leg in Oikos in February and March. But the good news is that April is better, and everything's back to normal, and the printers are working, and we could get the books back on the shelves, and the shipment came in. That's another interesting one. You know, when you're importing, anything can happen. The variables in that have become more and more interesting with each passing year. We even have things like pirates to deal with, which seems astounding, but it's a fact. In fact, we have one order of books, which are all the readers for Latin, that we ordered, I think it's 5 or 6 weeks ago now, and we're still waiting for it. Now, in the past, we would get them in 10 days or 2 weeks because it's air freighted, and so it's put the order and pay, and they come. Well, now we put the order and pay, and we wait and we wait and we wait. In the meantime, we have built all these factors in, going back to the fact that we've got our summit coming up. We've built these factors in of the not knowing when our shipments are coming in, and we're trying our very best to manage that so that there's never a situation when you can't get from Oikos what you need. But sometimes it happens, as you might have experienced in February and March. You might have experienced going onto the website and finding something out of stock. For example, the big one was the Maths You See manipulative blocks. We ran out of stock of that, and we had to wait for the ship to come in. So there was quite a few weeks with no stock of that, which was quite a concern. And it really does reflect on many levels. It creates a lot more management. It means we're not serving you as effectively as we'd like to be, and all of those things. So that's what we're going to be discussing at the summit when we're talking about how to improve on that, so that hopefully that doesn't happen. We know these things happen, and you can't just avoid everything, but we are doing everything we can for it not to happen. So let me have a look here and see what it is that anybody is asking or saying. Right, here's a question that came in from that question on the website, and that is, how do I deal with my child that really does not enjoy a subject and is struggling to get those particular lessons done? You know, that's an interesting question, because we didn't really do subjects. Now, I mean, that's a little bit not completely right what I'm saying, because you do language and you do maths. But when I say we didn't do subjects, what I mean is we didn't separate geography, history, science, because it's all in Konos. So I'm not sure those of you who are there or that are going to be watching this live stream after the fact, if you know about Konos. But Konos is a character training curriculum. Are you telling me there's a pause? We're not live at the moment. And now we are again. So Jamie has to indicate to me when we drop the signal. You know what happened? I must tell you what happened just before we came to start this live streaming. We got a notice to say that the internet's going to be disconnected for 30 minutes. I thought, I don't believe it, because last week we couldn't get to the live streaming. Now we got it all set and ready, and then boom, we had no connection for half an hour. So we were sitting here wondering whether we're actually going to be able to do this live stream or not. But then it came back on, and here we are. But it might be that they're working on the tower or the line or whatever, and so our internet might come and go. But if it does, we will just keep persevering like we need to and like we want to for you. And so to come back to the question about struggling with a child, or a child struggling with a particular subject, that is not something I can answer with regard to what do you do if your child doesn't like geography and now you really have to just push through, or he really doesn't enjoy history very much, but he has to do it. That question I would find difficult to answer, because we were doing Konos, and in Konos we're focusing on training the character, and those topics or subjects all just get connected together, so they don't become separate subjects. And the children that I'm raising, I'm not teaching them a subject as in, right, now take out your history book, we're going to learn about history, and we're going to learn these facts and figures about history. We're not doing that. We are actually doing inquisitiveness, and we are learning about our ancestors who came here on a ship from Norway, and they landed on the east coast, and there's a whole story around that, and we've even got a book about it and everything else. And so we start following our heritage, and that becomes the history lesson, and it's directly attached to their own personal lives. When I say it's attached, it's relevant to them, because it's about their particular heritage. So that becomes our history. It's not out of a curriculum history book, let's say. And so I haven't really experienced a child saying to me they don't want to do this because they don't like history and they're just having to push through. However, there could be a time, for example, I'm remembering now, one of my children wasn't particularly keen on the next maths book. Now that's a subject, because it was taking maths into an area that she just said no, she can't understand why numbers and letters should be mixed together. And it became quite a difficulty for her to comprehend that now letters of the alphabet are coming into maths, have been part of maths. And so that now became a difficulty. Now we're talking about a subject, being maths, and a difficulty, and the child you're teaching just not enjoying, let's say, not enjoying the process, or finding it difficult, or not wanting to do it. In that instance, whenever we hit any kind of a roadblock or a resistance with any learning, whether it be a particular subject disinterest or whether it be something else, it could be a family household task. One of the children's tasks might be to have to empty the waste paper bins, and they don't want to because they don't like doing that particularly. Now that is more dealing with helping them with character again, and learning to be a servant, and learning to serve and support and help others, and teaching them about the blessing that they are and the value that they are by doing that task. And so that becomes a life lesson, as in with the maths. Well, we're going to persevere through this because this is going to teach you determination and perseverance, whether you agree with the lesson or not, or whether you think it's of value, or whether you are finding it difficult. That's what I'm here for. As your mom, I'm sitting here and I'm here to support and help you. But I very, very seldom would find it necessary to have to insist that they just did the subject or whatever, whether they wanted to or not, because it's the subject and because there's an exam they've got to prepare for. That wouldn't be what the focus became. The focus would have become, past tense, that they were struggling with this thing. This thing could be anything, from emptying a waste paper basket to struggling with algebra. So it became more how to help them through the struggle, no matter what the topic or the subject. So you see, I'm not sure if that actually answered the question the way the person was asking, whether the answer is how they needed it, but that's the answer I can give. The next one I have here is, if your child is going through a traumatic time for some reason, say an emotional time, traumatic time, how do you know when to stop the formal lessons, or how much time to spend maybe on the emotional struggle and where you need to balance? How do you balance this, bringing the education, and how much time to spend on the education, and how much? I can see what this question is meaning is, like, what do I do? Do I just not do the education for a while and focus on the emotional? Where's the balance? My answer to that would be always to take care of the heart and the spirit. And the mind can wait. In other words, the academic or the formal education can wait, because something that I have really, really learned. This is my own experience. Whether it applies to everybody, I don't know. But I have learned that if a child or anybody is in an emotionally difficult place, it's very hard for them to learn. As in, you sit down and try and do fractions or algebra or prepositions or sentence diagramming. I'm now thinking of subjects. Try and do that with a child that is in pain. I was thinking of our son when he had a broken bone. I'm not going to necessarily start teaching him the next level in his maths book when I know that his pain and his discomfort is not going to aid him in being able to learn ahead, move ahead with his maths. So what I would do is I would spend that time rather on talking about pain and pain management and broken bones and learning about them and learning about the human body. And that's the kind of learning we would spend time doing rather than trying to keep the formal lessons in place. You see, I have to say that I wasn't under the pressure of they've got to finish this work because they've got an exam to write so that they can pass it so they can move to the next grade. Because of Oikos's learning lifestyle being what it is, we never had that. I don't know if it's pressure. Maybe it is pressure. Maybe people feel the pressure of that. I never had that. Honestly, I didn't. We had a learning lifestyle, and that's what we did. And we took whatever the day was that we had to deal with, and we did the best we could with that day. So the academic and formal learning, we didn't just chuck it out and ignore it, because being a responsible parent, you must teach your child to read and write and do maths, and so that they can be useful and used by God in their adult life. That's the goal, I hope. And so we have to keep it there in place, but the timing of it and how much, by this question is, how do you know what's too much and too little when it comes to how much time do you spend on the formal? I might not be answering these questions absolute boom, like according to a book answer, but as I've said previously, I'll answer according to our experience and our testimony. That's what I have to give you. All right. Oh, I've answered this question. There's another one actually about special needs. In fact, you did put that course on. Okay. The special needs, to come back to the special needs, I just want to say that the courses or the videos we've done on these particular topics, I really hope they will be useful to you on the website. I want to just say that the reason why we've done them is because, if you can imagine, if I get a few phone calls in a week asking about special needs and I sit and talk to that mom for an hour or more on the phone, I can only give her an hour, whereas the special needs course is 10-minute clip, 15-minute, 5-minute, 7-minute, whatever it might be, and she can watch those in between her own daily commitments. She can watch those, and when it's right for her, she can find ones that she might find useful to watch with a friend or with her husband or with the child in question. And so I just feel that the point of doing them was to be able to be hopefully more supportive and helpful in your particular situation. Now I'm just going to look down here. Oh, okay, good. Jamie, there's a comment here to say that it's helped to put the links in there, so that's nice. Right. So now I don't know how long we've been going here, but however long it is, I'm just going to have a sip of tea because we need to have tea. You just showed me. Jamie's flashing his hands in the background there, telling me how many minutes. Because he knows I don't know where to look on the screen to see how long this has been going. But that's okay. Right. Whoever is there, whoever's joined us live today, hello again. Hello to everybody who has joined us. And if you've got a question, you can ask me a question. Is there no live now at the moment? No. Right. We dropped connection there for a minute, it seems, but we're back. So, ladies, thank you for joining me. I wonder if there's any men, but hello to everybody, anybody who's there, who's joining me on this live stream. Thank you for joining. If you have a question, you can ask me, because it is a Q&A. My question today is, how can we help you even more effectively here at Oikos? That's what we want to know from you. And we hope that the videos and the courses and the resources on the store and being able to order online and pay online and do all those wonderful things, thanks for the family and the team that have made that all possible. But if there's more we can do and other things we can do to make it better for you, then you can let us know here, because I'm going to take what it is that you suggest or you ask or you request. I'm going to take it to the summit, which we are having this weekend. And it's really simply a time of sitting and working through what has not worked so well and what has worked well and what we would like to be doing going forward to help you even and serve you even better. That's the idea. I don't know whether these are at the top or at the bottom, which way to go on this, but it doesn't matter, because smiley face. I like smiley face. Okay, I'm just going to pop over here and see if there's any other questions that have come in while we're talking. Jamie, is this live streaming on the Oikos homepage? Okay, so let me ask the ladies out there, are you aware that the live streaming, I'm going to go and have a look, is put on the Oikos homepage? So if you didn't get to see it, or you know somebody, well, you would be there and you would be seeing it, but after the fact, if you want to watch it after the fact, what we've done now is, thanks to the team again, is they've put the live stream on the homepage when it's happening, like right now, and then after the fact you can watch it until we replace it with the next live stream. Then what we've also done is below that we've put what we've put there is called a featured video, and so we will be changing that featured video out to whatever's relevant. At the moment it's the month of May, and here in South Africa it's autumn, and so it's a beautiful, beautiful time of the year with all the colors all the trees changing color. And so we've got a couple of videos about May, which we did a couple of years ago, but they're still relevant today. So we will put a featured video on the homepage below the live streaming. Okay. So, right. Sorry, interruption. Something came through here. One day I'll get used to this, being able to hop all over the place and see where the different questions are coming and how to handle it all. Okay. Oh, Jamie, I don't know what I did with that. You sent me the link and now I can't find it. I will do. There's a comment there. Sylvie, you made it this time. I remember last live streaming you wanted to join us, but I think you joined us right at the end, but now you made it this time. My goodness, this is a mom who knows about walking through a valley, and I'm sure you found some golden nuggets there. What is your greatest golden nugget? I wonder if I can ask you, and you can pop it there on those comments and share it with other moms, because I know you've got some nuggets to share with people. And thank you for the encouragement. This is exciting. I love to be here to talk to you. And Rista's there is now. What kind of sentence is that? Rista's there also now and has made a comment. Oh. Yes. Rista's asking whether they're able, you are able yet to come to Oikos base. The answer is still no on that one. But thank you for asking. I understand fully, because now you're saying you're passing through Howick and you would love to be able to stop in, and that would be really, really wonderful. Here's the problem with that. The reason why the answer is no on that is because actually Oikos Print House is in the country, so there's a lot of gravel roads to get to it, and then we've got some interesting things that happen, like trees falling over, If there's a lot of rain, there's some really muddy, slippery patches. So what has happened is we might say, sure, of course, come fetch your books. And then we discover, and then they get stuck, and now we can't get them out. And now we get the tractor to get them out, but the person who drives the tractor isn't available. And so I could go on and on. So what started happening is that we would say yes to somebody, and then it would end up being quite an ordeal for them and not a very good experience. That's the one thing. The other thing is that what is happening there at Oikos base now is not consistent. In other words, there's not just people available to receive people and make you some tea and have a chat, because I'm not there at the moment. I'm here at the studio, which isn't at the base. It's in a different location. It used to be at the base, and now it can't be anymore because we had internet problems. So we had to find another spot to do our live streaming, which we now have. And so we have to grab our live streaming moments when we can fit them in. And so what happens now is if we open the door and say, please come, we would love you to come, because we used to love meeting with the people and even having picnics and just spending time with families, for real, not through live streaming, or going and having a time like we did in George and PE. That was wonderful, seeing those people. But now it would be so nice if we could have people coming to the base, but because of all these logistical and practical factors and time frames and being available and being there, it just isn't working. As well as the people that are there are busy running the print house. So if unexpected people come, or even if it's planned, they have to stop that running the print house and then attend to the people that are coming, which you think should just be possible if we had enough people and if there were people available to do that, but there aren't currently. And so one day maybe there are. Oh, goody, there's Shemaine. You could join after all. That's nice. Welcome, Shemaine. Thanks for joining us. So we're just talking about coming to Oikos base to be able to collect books. So I'm just wondering what to do about this. I'm wondering if we shouldn't... I'll give it some thought, Rista, and see if there's a way around, because I feel sad about it. I feel sad that we aren't able to make that possible as we used to be able to. When we had more, what should I say, human resources, more people on the floor to enable us to do that. But as you can understand, that if you're doing live streaming, you can't also be at the base to see to people arriving, but then you also can't be on the road to go and do Q&A out there. So at the moment, that's one of the things that's going to come up at the summit, is how can we be more supportive? How can we be more available? How can we make it happen in a way that has been of the greatest service that we possibly can? That's one of the topics at the summit. We're going to be discussing that and thinking about ways. And now, Rista's saying, don't worry, technology makes it great. Happy to see you here. Yeah, but you can see me, but I can't see you. I'm looking at you through a lens. But we'll see what can be done about that. Let's see what technology comes up with next for us to be able to have a two-way thing here. But I think it's exciting that I can actually be sitting talking to you. I'm glad that Shemaine could join us. She didn't think she was going to be able to. And Miranda came and saw us a few years ago. You see, things change. And it is something we would like to keep in place. Thank you for mentioning that and bringing it back to my attention. So now, thank you for the little gem there. I knew you would share a nugget there, Sylvie. She says, family time is irreplaceable. That would be my golden nugget. And God is always at the center of everything. Always, always, even in the dark valleys. That is so true. He will never, never forsake you. That is the thing. So when you're feeling alone, or when you're feeling you in a valley in your own family crisis, whatever it might be, then we've got good news for you. God is there. He's right there with you. He never, never forsakes you. So that is wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that, Sylvia. And also, what you said here about family time, that's what I've experienced in these valleys that we've walked through. It's irreplaceable. You can't put a measure on that. So when it comes to academic learning and the formal studies, if those have to sit on the shelf for a bit, it's okay. I'm thinking Sylvie's going to be agreeing with me with this, because your crisis and your valley that you went through, Sylvie, I can't imagine that formal learning was like high on your list of priorities at that time. I think there might have been some other things that were a little more important to you then. Oh, it stopped again. All right, Jamie has to interrupt. Jamie has to let me know that the video stream is interrupted every now and then. We seem to be having little moments of downtime. And then he shows me, and then here we are back again. And there's Tracy's joined us. Hello, Tracy. Hello, Tracy. So you'll put a little wavy hand, so I'm waving back. I appreciate you ladies letting me know what your requirements are, what your needs are, what you would like things to be more possible. Imagine that, Rist, if we could actually make it possible to have certain times where Oikos base could be open. That would be nice. When I say Oikos base, I mean the ministry base. I mean where the print house is, and that would be very nice. I'm going to put that at the summit, and I'm going to see how that can maybe be a possibility. Who knows? Maybe one live stream, I'll be able to give everybody a date and say this is the time that we've been able to set aside for certain things. And on that topic, do you know what we have set a time aside? What we have set a time aside for, and that is mom's tea parties. I'm going to see if I can find this little thing about this mom's tea party. Jamie, I think I've got a little mom's tea party invitation somewhere here. Maybe you can put it on this live stream. Do you think so? Maybe not. Okay, I'm not going to be able to just find this mom's tea. I made a little invitation for mom's tea parties. What I'll do is I will put it on after the fact. We'll do something. If you want this mom's tea party invitation, email me and I'll send it to you. There we are. That's nice and simple. The mom's tea party is me inviting you to come and have tea, and we have certain dates that we've set, whereby I think it's one Saturday a month where we've got these set tea party days. Now, this isn't possible for somebody who's maybe joining me and they in Canada, clearly, obviously. But it's much easier for those that are local. But how about this? If you, wherever you are in your area, you want to have a mom's tea party on a Saturday and you want to invite a few moms around, and you can invite me to your tea party, then maybe I can come and you can let me know when it is, and maybe I can come join you for your tea party. But in the meantime, I'm inviting you to a tea party date that I have set for one Saturday a month. And I can tell you right now when the next one is, because I'm hopping off to my calendar here, and it is on the 26th of May. We're having a mom's tea party here at Oikos. And then the next one is on the 11th of August. I'm a bit nervous to say these dates because, they can change. Life happens and things can cause them to shift around a little bit. Why is there not one in July? I don't see one in July. We try and have one every month. And there's the next one on the 22nd of September. And then the next one is on doesn't have one. The next one's the 10th of November. So there's some dates. I don't know if you're quickly scribbling those down, or if you want to email me, Sonja, Sonja, at oikosfamily.co.za. You can ask me about those dates. I can send you the information. And those are now little tea parties. That when I say little tea parties, basically, this is how it goes. Moms come and we spend the day together. Just being together, drinking tea, of course, and maybe eating biscuits. You see I've got my little peanut butter biscuits here, which I'm not going to munch in front of you on the live streaming, but they're to remind me it's a treat after our live streaming. And the moms sometimes come the night before, because if they're traveling a distance, they come the night before. And then I've got accommodation for them. I've got place for them to be able to put their heads down and have a good night's rest. And then the next day, so they sometimes arrive on a Friday afternoon and have Friday evening together, if they've come together. And the one mom's tea that we had, I think 3 ladies came together in one vehicle, so Sometimes they do that carpool, and then come and have the evening, and then the next day, the whole day, we just are together, and we have tea and chat and just talk about this learning lifestyle and anything that I can possibly help people with. As I said earlier on this particular live streaming broadcast, is that I believe God has taken us through these valleys that we have traveled for a purpose, a greater purpose, and one big one being that I would like to be able to support and help people that are facing similar valleys. Now, I know that Sylvie, who's joined us this time, because she could this time, has said, has been through such a valley, and it was very, very good that we were able to connect with them as a family and do what we could to support them in that, because we had been through a similar valley. So that's what the tea parties are about, and that's what these live streamings are about, is to be here to support you. If you've got specific questions, to know that we would like to help you. I think the video's turned itself off. I looked over here and it said no video. Okay, it's still working. Okay. I don't think you need to be feeling, there's a comment here about a mom who's feeling like she's exhausted and doesn't feel well enough to get to everything that she would like to. Okay, then you're not strict about the formal, but even the fun stuff is getting forgotten. How do I get back at it? How about starting with something that all of you can do? You know, I'm just thinking about this and thinking, what about one little tiny step? And because you're feeling like you've lost track and you want to get back on track, why don't you start small and not try and get it all right? But you say you haven't been feeling well, and so illness has made you tired. And well, on that, I was actually bedridden for a couple of years. So one would wonder, how do you home educate if you're bedridden? I don't think it was a couple of years. It was probably more like 18 months of actually being bedridden, and then maybe 6 months of being in a wheelchair, not completely bedridden, but still with a lot of illness. So if I have to look at what those years were at the time, I know they weren't about me sitting doing lessons, actual formal lessons. However, the children did come and get on the bed and we would read together. Now, I'm not having to expend too much energy, and even if I'm not feeling 100%, I can read. I could read aloud. I could ask them to bring onto the bed things that they were doing, their handwork or puzzle on a puzzle board, and various different activities that were happening at the time. And if my children were little, and I don't know how old your children are. Oh, you said they only have 2 years left, so they're much, much older. So now, if they're right near the end, then that's a bit of a different picture, and the fact that you've got some mentoring time to do. So what about finding books that are very specifically focused towards exit of young adult years and entry into adult years, those kind of books, and read them and talk about it and have discussions. If your health and your body isn't well enough to actually have the energy to be involved in more than that, then that is something that is always something you can fall back on. Even if you decide, and that is read aloud, is what I'm going to say. So even if you decide to just take a book of the Bible and that's what you're going to do. You're going to read one of the Proverbs. There's an excellent one. You're going to read Proverbs 1. And that's what you're going to do that day. And you're going to read it with your 2 children. And you're going to talk about what Proverbs 1 says. Now, by the time you get to the end of Proverbs 31, you've now done 31 Proverbs, one for every day of the month. And you've had a discussion. You could even make it last 31 weeks, because you could take one proverb and work on that proverb for the week and talk about it. And that, if that is the only thing that you had the energy to do, that would be incredibly valuable. It would be hugely supportive to your children, to you. You would know that you were equipping them with the Word of God to support them in their adult life. Because let me tell you, when they are adults and now they need to make big decisions, or they need to be able to get through a difficulty of their own, and you know as a parent that you have deposited that in them, and that you know that they can go to the Word to get the answer, that is going to be hugely valuable. So I think this is a very, very big question, and my heart does go out to you in your feeling exhausted and illness. It's just on, getting the better of you, and you're feeling like you've lost track. Well, let me tell you, I mentioned earlier on in this live stream that we could basically say Oikos fell off the tracks a couple of times in February and March. It felt like a bit of a derailing, going along nicely, train wreck, pick up all the pieces, carry on. And it does happen like that. Life does happen like that from time to time. But to us, the thing that helps get us back on our feet and back on track is His Word, His encouragement, spending time with Him, praying, spending time with your children in the Word. I can't think of something better to suggest for you in this time when you are struggling. And you might find that the fun aspect of, you say even the fun is gone. That's what I'm going to encourage you to, we lost. Are we still? Oh, here I'm back again. Jamie showed me again that we had lost connection. Morena, you were saying that the one thing as well that you are struggling with is the fun element. I'm just going to trust that as you get back into spending time in the Word with your children, that you'll get inspired and you will find joy, you'll find strength, and that you will even be inspired in some areas of fun. As in, do you know what's just coming to me is to play a game. You might or might not know by now that we are very pro family games, playing games. And why not? Why not? Just because learning is difficult, why not get a game that just is a fun game to play? Why not do that? I mean, I don't know. I have found that with the derailing we've had in the last couple of months, that playing games and sitting at the table and playing a game that is just really supportive, and the fact that it's fun and it's strengthening and it takes your mind off the troubles and the difficulties. And you came back from the base that day and there were just breakdown after breakdown, and there is that tendency to, how do we keep going? And then you go to Him and you go to His Word and He keeps you going. And then you get together with your family and you play games, or you watch a funny movie, or do things that actually bring joy, because joy gives you strength. His Word says so, and it is the truth. It does give you strength. Sylvie, you're agreeing with me, I take it. You're saying absolutely. You're agreeing about this fact that formal learning, formal education, and spending time with that wasn't your priority in the time that you were going through your valley. I'm presuming that we are agreeing on that. It seems so. Thank you, Mr. Dr. J. Weil. Thank you for joining us. Thanks for being there. It's nice and very nice of you to join us. In case some of you don't know who Dr. J. Weil is, he is the man that wrote the wonderful Apologia Science books for us. Jamie, why don't you put a link there for the Science in the Beginning? A couple of live streams ago, I didn't know what Dr. J wanted to call his Science in the Beginning series, and he said they're called Science Through History. Did I get that right, Jay? Science Through History. Love these books that he's written. In fact, the first line of the first book says, have you read Genesis? I just love it. I love it that you open in right, straight to the Word. It's fantastic. There you are. Jamie put it there. Science, Dr. J. Well. Seeing as you are there, Jay, can you tell me if I've got it right calling it Science in the Beginning? No, sorry. Science Through History, that's what the series is called. And the first one is Science in the Beginning, starting with Genesis, and it goes all the way through the different ages of history. And what I love about those books that Jay has written is it involving the parent. The parent sits and reads the book And then the children go off and do the activities with the parent or not. And I'm thinking of the mom that is not feeling well, Raina, and I'm saying to her, to you, there is a perfect example, you see. You can just get one book, and you could actually read that book, those science books. Now you know you're teaching your children about the Creator. You know that you are reading from the Word of God to them. You know you're making it interesting because it's pertaining to a particular topic, and now they've got an activity to go off and do. And I know that the Science Through History series, Jay's agreeing that I did get that right, actually is for younger, middle, and older children. Oldest being, Jay, tell us, what is the oldest? Junior high, I think they call it in America. So your children, Moreno, are older than that, but even so, I know as an adult that if I read those books through, I'm going to be gaining a lot. So I don't think there's an age limit on it myself. I understand that the activities might be for little ones and middle ones and older ones, but just getting the book and reading it aloud to your children, to me, that would be very, very valuable. Sylvia, I love that comment. No mom going through a crisis will say, oh no, I wish we could have done more maths. That is so perfect. 6th or 7th grade, says Jay. What age? We need age. I need age, you see, because I lose touch with what the ages are on the different grades. So I completely concur, Sylvie. Sylvie says that no one's going to say, I wish we'd done more maths. I just tell people this all the time. The amount of time that we spent in ICU units, which, by the way, God showed me one day, it's not an intensive care unit, it's an ICU. Him telling me that I see you and where you are and the crisis you're in, the value you're in. And I never, ever used to think in the ICU unit, why did I not bring the maths book along to teach Missy while she's lying here critically ill? I never ever thought that. I was always just very glad that I had my Bible and I could read Psalms and Proverbs and whichever book of the Bible that came to me that was what God was leading me to read to her. Okay, thank you, Dr. J. Dr. J says up to 13 years of age. But is it okay, Jay, that I tell people that it's up to 300? No, nobody lives to 300. Up to any age. Because I know I've read, you read Jay's books, Jamie, and you were 17, 18 at the time. It's just, oh, you read it when we got it first from him. Do you remember, before we started making them available in Oikos? I see you, I love that, says Sylvie. It was such a gift from the Lord, Sylvie, at the time when he said, I see you. It was fantastic. It's just what I needed. He knew that I needed that at that moment. So, I don't know, again, maybe I need to wrap up. Maybe I've been talking here for too long, Jamie. Is it time to... Of course, Jay says, of course, any age will do. You can read those books anytime you like. Thank you for writing them for us, Jay. I'm very, very grateful. Thank you, Yunanza. Yunanza's joined us there, and she's busy saying how much read aloud times actually got them through getting their hearts connected and doing family reading together was very good for them. They just learned life happens when we stick together through it. Very well put. So, thank you everybody for joining me, gentlemen and ladies and gentlemen. Thanks, Jay, for being there. Appreciate that. And I will hope to be back soon. And I'm going to take what I've learned from you and present it at the summit this weekend. So you can all be praying for that as well. That would be wonderful to know that we have your prayer support for the way forward here in Oikos to continue serving you. In the meantime, I'm just very happy and excited that this technology has enabled me to be able to be here. And the fact that actually I know that Jay is over there in Indiana. It is in Indiana. He's in Indiana, and here we are in South Africa, and I can be talking here, sitting here at Oikos and talking to everybody. It's just such a huge, huge gift. I'm excited what the Lord is going to be doing with it, and I'm excited that we are going to be able to continue serving you. That is what He's called us to. The vocation is to serve you, to continue to serve you all. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'm looking forward to our next live streaming. Thank you for joining me. Bye for now.